Hello. I'm wearing some red socks today for Christmas. Chapter 1: The Power of the Heart, the First Gate. Many people live their entire lives in their minds, within the illusions that they have created for themselves. For the most part, we are not the guilty ones when we find ourselves wrapped in many layers of imaginings, for we have been trained to use our minds first and foremost from an early age, and all too often this is at the expense of a more balanced, heartfelt view. A heartfelt view leans on compassion and the connecting of empathic tethers to those around us. In many ways, a more heartfelt view at the expense of the mind, even though this too is an off balance, is actually far less destructive to us and to our environment. After all, if we act from our hearts rather than our minds, we are in fact acting out of love. And actions that come from love cannot be bad or destructive or too far off the mark. If, however, we sever this all-important connection in a vain attempt to use our minds in which to control, we do, in the same instance, fall away from our spiritual sides in favour of our mortal sides, and this can never be good. This is what we tend to see in the world around us in our modern age. There has risen a need within man to control the environment, and also a need to control other men. These power struggles never surface from within the heart. These power struggles surface from overtrained minds and a predisposition to follow the male side of our energy, which, by definition, attempts to alter, control, and enslave. We perpetuate our materialistic approach to life by forcing our children down the same narrow route. To teach our children to overthink any given situation, rather than feel their way through life, is to ensure a cold and spiritually detached future for mankind. I am not implying that the mind, along with various applied disciplines of the mind, is an inherently bad thing. I'm simply suggesting that encouraging only mental activity in our young people, and never even suggesting that there is a practical side to feeling with our hearts, is always going to make the world a little colder. How can it do anything else? The balanced approach to an all-round human experience is to acknowledge the physical side of our existence as well as the spiritual. Acknowledge mortality, yes, but also acknowledge spirituality, and in doing so, see and feel these things as one entity, one energy wheel that flows around the whole system and binds all things. In this respect, the physical plane and the spiritual planes can all be seen as one thing, not separate. It is through an appreciation of the heart that we enter into the multi-dimensional universe and the mysteries of the divine. The heart, then, in a very real and literal sense, is the first gateway to a larger universe. The heart is also the means to reach such a universe. We can approach these mysteries with the mind. We can ask all sorts of questions, and we might even get some logical answers. But when it comes to opening the door to the blessed places, it is the heart that steps over the threshold and grants us access. The mind can attempt to understand and relate these experiences to others, as I am attempting to do in this book, but the heart is the gateway, and in this sense, correct and pure intent within the heart is the key. There are many books that dedicate their contents to astral travel, the astral double, and the attainment of various astral levels or planes. These books I refer to are very mechanical in their approach to various spiritual disciplines and are more focused on astral projection for the sake of it, rather than hinting at the much larger picture and the divine work that awaits as we become ready for a much wider spiritual horizon. This particular book will start as it means to go on. If we wish to travel on the astral planes and the higher planes, and if we wish to learn our divine purpose for projection and journeying, we need to take on board and respect certain divinely ordained energetic laws and principles. Sure, we can learn to use our energetic bodies in such a way as to be a vehicle to our consciousness, but let me ask you this: where are you going to travel, and why? When you first learned to drive a car, like me, you probably just drove around for the sake of it, because it's fun, and because it gave you a sense of freedom, a freedom that you did not previously have. But after a short period of time, you found yourself simply driving around in circles and wasting time and wasting energy, petrol. The same is true of travelling spiritually. At first, it's okay to experiment and see what we can do with our newly acquired wings, but we must come to the realization that our wings are given to us for a good reason, and this reason has to do with our destiny and our soul journey. The divine has a very good reason for allowing us access into the astral plane and then the higher, blessed levels. The reason will be different for everyone, and so I can only talk from my own personal experiences. It is my hope, though, and the purpose of this book, to inspire the reader towards a heartfelt movement through life in both the material and the spiritual dimensions, rather than a mind-felt movement that tends to have us preoccupied with materialism and control. To this end, when astral travel begins to occur and there is success in this particular specialized field, the participant will already have a strong sense of the divine possibilities and will desire, above all things, to accomplish exceedingly good deeds with their spiritual gifts. The power of the heart is the strongest force across all realms. The power of love quite literally makes the world go round, and also the entire cosmos. The force of the heart can open locked cosmic gateways and allow the spiritual traveller to pass their heart through a string of stars in accordance with divine plan. The traveller will accomplish this in order to ground distant universal energy back towards the earth plane in the interest of divine work and in the interest of profound healing that is on an interstellar scale. This is big stuff, and we need to respect our gifts. This is also very exciting stuff, and there will be a sense of deep joy in our work. Bottom line, if there is divine purpose, if we are serving higher forces, we will then attract the greatest of spiritual protection. We will exceed our own expectations regarding those things that we believe are possible, and our life will be full of meaning, purpose, and full of real magic. Thank you for listening. My Christmas magic socks have taken me around this tea shop during the course of that reading. I've enjoyed the journey. I hope you have too. Bye for now.